Laszlo Jones is a Beirut-based multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger, and producer. And he's with us here just now. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for being here. Now, first of all, you've got a new song out at the moment called In the Morning. How would you describe the basic idea of that song, first of all?
Well, in the morning is kind of it's a song about war,
Mm.
um, to tell you the truth,
Mm.
and it's something because in my youth, I sometimes was, let's say, not so far from, war zones,
Yeah.
because I traveled a lot, and I was always struck by, how tough and violent uh, the actual war is. And then when you wake up at 6 a.m. and you go out, and it's just a normal morning, and you're under the impression that nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's very calm. It's very cool, and it the contrast kind of always struck me, so that kind of inspired me this song.
Yeah, I think it's a thing a lot of us take for granted. Most people in the Western world have never been involved in war around them where they live. We only ever really see it on the news.
I'm also quite fortunate because I didn't actually live in, but I've been close a few times, put it
Mm.
this way. I didn't, so I'm not a war child between brackets, but
Yeah.
I did come close enough to kind of, for it to kind of strike me a few times in my life.
Yeah, and it's just upsetting to be near it.
Yes, yes, yes.
And how long did the song take you to write?
Oh, it took me a while because it's a song which I wrote actually a few years back,
Mm.
and I had it in my computer, and it was a demo, and I was thinking, okay, let's when the pandemic when the lockdown started, I was like, okay, what do we do now? And I said, okay, let's start producing these songs. And I just went through my songs, and I found this song again, and it wasn't completely finished, so it
Yeah.
took me yeah, so it's not a thing which I wrote in 10 minutes. It took me a while to get the lyrics right and to express exactly what I wanted to express in it.
Mm.
And then the production process was pretty easy because I've got a co-producer who's a big music producer, and I was fortunate enough to have great musicians on hand to actually record the stuff.
Yeah.
And I recorded the vocals myself in my own house for the first time. It's
Mm.
kind of nice because you can, mull over it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the whole thing, I mean, if you add up when I started the first demo and when it was released, there's a bunch of years which passed, but
Yeah.
in effective work, maybe it's a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And the song being called In the Morning, I take it there's a lot of focus on the idea that everything's different the morning after all the atrocity.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it kind of shows in the video clip too.
Mm.
We did this. There's a small music. Well, there's a music video which maybe you've seen on YouTube,
Mm.
um, where which describes um, kind of the degradation of a relationship between two people,
Mm.
which goes down, pretty bad in the end, and at the end there's a murder,
Ooh.
and but it starts in a very calm setting in a bed with a boy and a girl, put it this way. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm. And how did
completely.
you first start to get interested in making music then?
Well, when I was a kid, I started. My parents put me on cello when I was 4, but obviously the cello when you're 4 is quite big
Yeah.
compared to you. That was probably not a very good idea. And then I did some piano, and then for a couple of years,
Mm.
and it's always been with me. Put it this way.
Yeah.
And when I was like 15, I I was living in Bangkok at the time,
Mm.
And I kind of joined the local school band as a singer, and that kind of got me into the thing. And then I started there, and it never really stopped.
Yeah.
And I've done all sorts of stuff. I mean, I was after Bangkok, I moved to Beirut, and I had a rock band,
Mm.
and then I moved to Paris, and I had a progressive metal band,
Yeah.
and then I started being a guitar session player for hip hop acts, and and then I wrote music for advertisement. I released a record. Then I did movie scores.
Ooh.
And so, I've done a bit of everything. I've done a lot of music.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, now this is kind of what I'm releasing now is kind of the final mix of all my influences, which go, from metal to electronic music, to classical, and I tried to put it all into one thing.
Mm. And how does doing movie scores differ from making an actual song?
Oh, well, it's a very, very, very different process.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, when you're doing movie scores, you're focused on the classical instruments. So that's
Mm.
one thing. And I mean, there's a common part between both. I mean, it's about this the movie scores are about the themes, so it's like
Yeah.
writing a song. You have a theme, and then you just package it completely differently. And the particular thing about movies is that often you have to stick to the image.
Mm.
So you write a general theme, and then you have to adapt it to what's going on camera.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long process, because you first give a general ambience when you write the theme. You just and then you have to orchestrate it, so you have to put it in motion,
Mm.
and then comes the movie edit, and you have to kind of make it fit. So, but it's very interesting. It's very
Yeah.
much fun. But when you're actually recording the thing, I don't have the skills for that. So you need
Yeah.
a conductor.
Mm.
So I didn't throw myself into conducting a 40 people orchestra, because
Yeah.
it's a whole job in itself.
Yeah. And a lot of film composers actually prefer to be in the gallery room rather than conducting so they can see what it actually looks like when it's all together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Well, I was sitting next to the conductor. He
Yeah.
had the high chair, and I had the low chair.
Yeah.
And I was like clapping my hands, because but we had rehearsed at the beginning. I mean, we had done a few rehearsals, and we had prepared.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah, yeah. It's also nice to be in the control room to hear what actually comes out, and then
Yeah.
adjust.
And it must be quite fun watching a film that's got your music in it.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not the actual part, which is the most fun of all, is when you've written all this stuff on pieces of paper, right? And
Yeah.
then you give it to an orchestra,
Oh.
and then they've never seen it before,
Yeah.
because they don't prepare, and then you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 40 people who start playing completely in sync, and the sound is huge, and it's absolutely awesome. It's one of my best experiences, ever.
Mm.
Just having an orchestra play your score,
Yeah, for sure.
because you've heard it on a computer, and you've done demos, and you've done things like that, but when they actually get to playing it, it's incredible.
Yeah. So, do you have any more music on the way that we're able to look forward to?
Yes, I do, actually. This
Ooh.
song is the first song of a 5-track EP.
Mm.
Um, and the tracks are so the next track is going to be released in probably, we're still fixing the day, but it's probably around the end of August.
Okay.
And then there'll be another one in November, and then the EP will probably be out. I don't have the exact dates, but it's between November and January. And yeah, so that's what's going on now.
Yeah, that's exciting
And
stuff.
it's very exciting. And
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to work with awesome people at all levels, be it on the actual music, and on the music videos. And the two next music videos are really awesome. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to, everything opening up to start playing a little bit live,
Mm.
as much as I can. Although I'll admit I'm doing it in secret in Beirut now, although it's not completely authorized. I did a first gig last week, and yeah, I'm looking forward to touring.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where are we able to have a listen to all your music then?
Well, just about anywhere. You can
Yeah.
go on Spotify and type Laszlo Jones. You can go on YouTube and type Laszlo Jones. You can go on Apple Music and type Laszlo Jones. Even SoundCloud. It's all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's on all platforms. So you can listen anywhere.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's been great talking to you.
You're welcome. It was very nice talking to you.